Krett! Oh my god.
What up, folks? Me again, Tom. After joined here by Krett. A little late this time, yeesh, but like 30 minutes. Some work things had to be done, but we're here for another
It was
episode of
actually
Really
my
What's Good?
hairstylist. My hairstylist took extra long today.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
They didn't do a very good job either. You can see like growth on the sides. Oh man, I'm mad.
That's crazy. Anyway, what's going on, man? How was your week?
My week was good. I actually had dinner with Hi-Rez Clumsy Death last night, who is currently on his odyssey down south to work with the production boys. So I got to send him off.
CDs joined the PB. Oh.
That's disgusting. Never say that again.
Clumsy Death production boys get a CDs join the PBs.
Yeah,
it's
never
funny.
Say that again.
It's funny, dude.
How have you been, Tom?
Not bad.
Can I call you Tom?
I hate you. Every week you ask me that. I'm chilling, man.
Then.
That's actually my name and mumble right now.
Yeah, it's the joke.
You're adorable. But yeah, I mean, I'm just chilling, doing some normal shit, hanging out, production world. What up, Eric? What up, Quan?
What up, Tom?
What up, Eric?
Yeah, so.
Can't do work right now.
What up, man? Can't do work? Yeah, we're chilling. I asked, y'all said nothing, so we're filming really in here. That's what's going on. So, yeah, we've got some cool stuff on the docket today. Week 1 happened to the SPL qualifiers. We got 2 more weeks going on of that shit, and then some new sponsors enter the arena. A lot of cool stuff to talk about anyway. Krett, let's just talk Week 1 SPL, shall we?
All right. I mean, you know, we always start with North America, so let's start with North America.
Let's go with North America. Yeah.
Complexity takes the week. 100 points, and they're a strong team.
Dude.
They're a strong team. They're definitely good in the early game, and they have a firm grasp on, you know, this sort of new Season 2 meta. I think in North America, they're sort of the team to watch, right? Like, they're the team where it's like, wow, in-con, we can really know what's going on. Let's sort of do what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Weekend is like... I honestly think Weekend is a little less strong. I'm like struggling for words when the player's name is Weekend. But I think Weekend's a little less strong than we initially thought, or at least I did. And looking at his play, it's sort of what I'm seeing. That said, they're still clearly the #1 team. I'm just curious what'll happen when they go up against COG. Or, in this case, Cloud9 and the Name Changers.
Yeah, I mean... Well, you know, definitely you're going to see a lot more research coming out from COG, right? Like, they've got 3 weeks of competition to look at, to watch, along with the content that Complexity puts on YouTube. I mean, Incon puts a support tier list on YouTube. And it's great content, but he's literally telling you what he values. And
I think that's fine. I honestly think
it is fine, and it's great, but Jeff Hindla's going to be looking at that YouTube video and be like, huh... That's his favorite support. Okay, cool. Let's put up this whole thing. I know I wrote a whole run of show. Let's fucking throw it out the window because that's a cool topic. Streaming versus winning. Is it a competition? So, you said that Incon posts his tier list on YouTube, and that gives everybody, like, they know what he values. I don't think that's a problem, and frankly, I think that's a decision you have to make. I don't think that guarding your strategies is worth giving up the revenue of streaming on YouTube. And I fiercely believe that all this like hiding of the scrims is bullshit and y'all should just stream it. Word. That's an interesting perspective. So, I guess here's the other side of the coin, right? I think going completely dark on content is just like reducing your potential revenue, depriving fans of really cool content, stopping new fans from coming in, and that sucks. You should definitely try and put some content out. You should stream. You should play ranked. You could do YouTube content. You could do guides. That's awesome. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the, like, cream of the crop strategies, right? Like,
I just don't think that there's enough, like,
and it definitely, and we can agree on this, I think. It definitely should not be the pocket strategies. right?
Yeah,
like
you have strategies that you protect at all costs.
Yeah, Zeros should not give a Jungle Vulcan guide. He should never do that.
And the Divios, Janus solo lane that we saw at the regionals, or the that stuff. Yeah, that's high value. I'm not saying that, but like, dude, Eager is not, and this is your team wasn't even thinking about that. Eager is not like breaking, and I'm not throwing you under the bus because there's a certain like value in doing repetitive shit, like not repetitive but traditional stuff. Like Eager's not breaking the boundaries anytime soon. Zatman's gonna play a hunter character, maybe a Loki or a Chalk. Laz is gonna play
I think what you're saying,
what you expect him to play, and if you were to stream that scrim, there would be no downside. There's no secret plan.
Okay,
just
so
do it.
I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you. I'm going to agree with you. I subbed for Evil Empire. This was over a year ago. I believe it was like November or December before Season 1, right? And Allied and Wolfie were on this team. Allied goes, hey, Wolfie, you're streaming. Can you just mute your stream for picks and bans? And he's like, yeah, I muted. And, like, that sounds fair, right? And they're just sitting there. It's dead quiet. And Allied goes, let's ban Agni. Alright, now, pick Bacchus. And, like, why are you muting? Right? Like, there's no conversation. Now, if it's like, well, maybe we can, like, I don't know, we'll pick Bacchus, and then we'll last pick Shibalanki, and have, like, a Bacchus Shibalanki lane or something like that. If there's, like, secret strategies or deep stuff, and, like, your opponents could potentially go back and see how you might have manipulated them through the ban phase, sure. That should probably be kept a secret. That's valuable information. Having your team captain just say, yeah, I think we should ban Agni, you can totally stream that. So it's definitely a difficult line. It's one that I think should be explored more often. At the same time, you are giving up information, and it has to be worth it to some extent.
Yeah, they're like the business side of esports, specifically Smite, is growing, shall we say?
Sure.
And the ability to like eat food and not die based on your Smite winnings and earnings alone is really tough. Now, what I'm saying is the value of that information that you're keeping secret more valuable than the money you would earn via Twitch subs or that horrible word, donations? Which is the heavier one? And I think that your strategies are worth less than the income and, more importantly, exposure that you would get from streaming and maybe YouTube content. I think that if you want to put a dollar value on the amount that you would get from streaming and a dollar value on your secret strategy of Thor jungle, I think that streaming money winds up being more valuable.
So let's take a look at Season 1, because it's already happened, right? Kickoff LAN, like, it probably would be a mistake to stream your prep scrims for the kickoff LAN.
And I mean, I think events are a little bit different.
And then, so you get to that, you go through the kickoff LAN, Cogred wins it, you go into the main season. And so there's a team that, let's say, streams all their scrims. They do the streaming of their matches that Hi-Rez had going last season, and hopefully we'll do again this season. And that's pretty cool. They make some stuff, but it seems like it would be necessary that should they make Worlds, they are just dark for a month.
Right, and that I respect. I'm not saying you figure out a game-breaking strat and then stream your Janus dropship into the base. I'm saying that the majority, and Krett, you're a coach. You're a coach. The majority of team strategy isn't that, dude.
Yeah, but at the same time,
it's not. It's just,
at the same time, if you give me my
Dota.
competitor scrims, that gives me a lot of information. that gives me a ton. Right? Because there's communication, and there's calls, and there's... You just unlock more about a team, and that's very scary. At the same time, though...
You can mute comms.
Well, I'm not even saying that. The scene grows. Everyone gets better.
That's a beautiful statement.
Here's the counterpoint.
Sucks. Get better.
Here's the counterpoint, though. Season 1.
That's a great
Cog
song.
Red, Cog Prime. Cog Red, Cog Prime, right? They go into Worlds. And they have... Let's not say Worlds. Let's say playoffs. I think that's a better example.
Okay.
They go into playoffs, and both teams do incredibly well because they have developed their own meta in North America that was better than the other metas that people were running. That's very powerful, and that's an advantage that teams can lose. Now, granted, COG was in a situation that was much more intense than any other team, because not only were they completely, like, there's no content based around their scrims or anything they took like that seriously, but they only scrimmed one other team.
Why can't you... How is streaming this content different than spectating your match? Or getting the demo file.
But you can't spectate the match. You can't get the demo files. You can't see the post-game stats.
Why
because
not?
every scrim is canceled out of. If everyone disconnects, the scrim disappears. It's completely dark.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like I said, there are pocket strats and there are communication things, but like, dude, a lot of Smite is just Thor jungle. Like, a lot of Smite is Scylla mid. I'm not saying Smite is a basic game. There's a lot of strategy that goes into it. But I just don't think that outside of pocket strats that, like, it's worth it. I think it's just more worth it to, like, stream your scrims, maybe mute your comms if you really want to. I encourage you to mute comms because I agree with you and that communication is key. And if I listen to a team scrim, I will tell you where to exploit. I will tell you the weak thing. Like, yes, I agree with you. Mute your comms, dude. I don't care. Stream that stuff. It is so important for the exposure of your team to get that stream out there. No?
No, I mean, I'm just like, it's really cool exposure. It really is.
It's pretty much unique exposure at this point. No other team does it. No team really does it. And like I said, you want to stream, like, especially with the SPL coming up, you're going to see these teams play, and teams have an identity, right? You have an aggressive jungler, you have a passive jungler. You lean on your hunter, like SK, you lean on your solo, like old SK. You know, your team identity is known. It's not a secret. Now, your comms might be secret.
But the problem is, and this is mentioned by Dr. Massacre in chat, muting the comms is a huge degradation of that content. It's a huge blow to the value of it. Yes, it's still cool, but with the comms, it is like 5 times cooler.
And again, that is the equation that teams
So
have
you're
to
just
balance.
saying, have the balls to stream your scrims with unmuted comms, is kind of what you're saying.
I can endorse streaming your scrims with comms muted. I would be remiss if I sat here on my pedestal saying, all you teams that stream your scrims without comms are bitches, because I totally understand how valuable comms can be to the enemy team. That said, what value, like what monetary and publicity value is that to, you know, that's an intricate equation that I'm not going to sit here and be a pompous asshole about. I'll be a pompous asshole about streaming your scrims without
You'll be a pompous
comms.
asshole about a lot of things.
Yes, because I'm right when I feel like I'm right.
That's true.
Stream your scrims and mute your comms. I will push you and tell you to do that. Now, streaming your scrims with comms, that's not something I can like wholeheartedly call you a loser if you don't do. But if you do it, I think you are the coolest guy on the block.
Yeah, I mean, the realistic thing, right, is like there aren't that many teams that are completely isolated. There are no teams that really have like a perfect scrim partner, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't think Cloud9's scrimming right now. I don't think the name changers are scrimming right now, or at least not as much as they were if they were actively competing. They're sort of in an off season. And I'd say for the most part, the teams that don't have dedicated scrim partners scrim around. And so most teams will face most other teams. And yeah, you know...
That's, again...
Like, looking at the brackets, right? Cog and Five Finger Men are going to be in the semifinals next week, assuming they both make it there. Maybe they won't scrim each other. But at the same time, it's not like their strats are going to be, like, super secret. You're not going to blow anyone's mind with something completely different.
Guys,
because there aren't that many
don't tell anyone I'm
options.
playing Poseidon middle.
Yeah. Or, like, guys, don't tell anyone that my jungler is going to get, like, back harpies here instead of there, or, like, that I'm going to invade something. People have invaded before. People have done a lot of things before.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's that many secrets in Smite. And especially in a scene as small as us with 6 teams in our pro league, I just don't think that there's enough secrets to really, like, warrant it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think that's a question for the teams to ask themselves. Walrus is sitting here. He's on a potential pro team, and he's sitting here saying, like, why would you ever do that? That's really dumb. But, you know, I'm sure that there are pros out there that might have a different opinion. I would love to hear Zimstar on this topic of conversation. Although that said, I know Trig is very.
I am not entirely sure that they need the revenue.
No, they don't, but they need the exposure. That said, top down, Trig is treating their team very much like a traditional sports team, so they would probably be extremely dark on it. But like you said, they probably don't need the dough. So I don't know. It's a different situation.
So in chat, Santan's mentioned Frosty X Hogless in your jungle is massive. I feel like someone's going to find something like that again. Yes, there are secrets like that you can do. But even then, they only are going to work a select few number of times, right? Like, a good coach is going to look at Hogless Ymir Jungle and be like, he doesn't have Hog. Invade him with Hog.
I mean, Hogless Ymir Jungle is one of those things that just shouldn't have worked. Yeah. Even if you kept it a secret.
Well, but that's a lot of cheese strategies, right? Like, I don't know. 5-man invading shouldn't work, right?
Right. Yeah.
Thanatos invading shouldn't work. But it does because people relax or let it happen or like, oh, they won't invade. So
yeah. So I mean that's the type of stuff that you don't stream. You know what I said? Like when you're going when you're going, and I mean we see this all the goddamn time. Shibalaki, Athena long lane, Poseidon in the middle, Thor in the jungle, and a Bakasura solo. Dude, you're not surprising anybody there. Just scream it. Why not, dude? Like, why not? You know? That exposure, I think that is worth dropping the secret of Baka solo or whatever the hell you're doing. You know what I mean?
And, you know, the other point is that a lot of these players play ranked, and you're not going to develop your Baka solo play without playing it in ranked. It can't be that secret, right? Like, did Divios' Yanis actually come out of nowhere? Maybe it did. You know, like, maybe they only practiced it in scrims that were completely off the record.
Right.
But that's very hard to do, and not that many teams have the means of a dedicated scrim partner to do that. Very few.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely, you know, that was a unique situation to Cog and Cog Red, and maybe that's something teams need to look for.
But
maybe
at the same time,
you know,
that scrim partnership is facilitated by the fact that they're under the same banner.
Right, and I mean that's something that's not allowed anymore, right? Yeah. Like they're not allowing that, or we are not allowing that anymore. It's now individual.
Yeah, they are not allowing it anymore. So. The man.
Yeah. All right.
You're keeping people down after.
Okay, I'm the man all of a sudden. Okay.
Yes, you're the man.
Well,
yeah, you are.
I'm the man in that regard. Like, I'm the fucking man. But as far as being the man, I don't know about that one. Calm down. Calm down. I'm a man of the peoples. All right.
Hit him with the people's DQ.
And the peoples. Well, I mean, I've heard you cry for more DQs than anybody else. So
yo, DQ boys. I'm gonna get a shirt.
I have literally heard you sing a song and do a dance over DQs, and
let me tell you,
don't have
what's the fastest way to win a game?
Surrender or DQs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, that was a side note, but I think that was a really good conversation. I just don't think that if you are not going to win, if you are not going to be number one at Worlds, if you're going to be a number 3 or number 4 team, I don't think that you are. I think you're giving up money by not streaming some of your scrim content. Again, keep your pocket strats and your secrets and your like. Jack of all, you know, your super, like your Janus solos and your Hogless, your Mir jungles. It's not supposed to work anyway, but keep that stuff close to your heart. You know what I mean? But like, you're scrimming everyone anyway. You're playing ranked anyway. Stream your fucking Thor ranked, Thor jungle scrims. You can do it. I really feel strongly about that.
All right. It's definitely an interesting point, and it's a good way to monetize. And to be honest, the scene's in a little bit of an awkward spot for money, right? Like, a lot of teams have salary, not all of them. Hi-Rez is still probably the main supplier of money into the scene, which is awkward.
I'd agree with that, yeah, probably. And like tournament winnings, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely with Worlds, right? But I'm talking sort of outside of that, right? Like, 2 teams from North America got a piece of that action. But when you're looking at, like, the primary season, it's, like, the few teams with sponsorships, Hi-Rez, I suppose, and then it's just sort of making your own money. Streaming, and YouTube, and content creation.
Exactly. And, like, that's a thing, you know, that's, like, a thing that's sort of what I'm speaking to. Like, I want to see the scene grow and prosper, and that is a reality. The reality of it is that you got to eat. So I think it's a big deal. But moving on past that and all the paying your bills content, we actually have the game itself, and that's sort of what we're looking at. With 1 week in the books, 2 more weeks are coming up. So we have the second week of qualifiers, which should be the same exact thing, open bracket tournament, and then third week we'll have a smaller bracket for the top 8, pretty much just to determine which 4 teams will make it into the SPL. Since we have 6 slots.
I have one other point brought up in chat. This is a really good one. Smug Scriber says, quite a few teams' shot callers stream themselves playing ranked. Is it as if they change how they call when they play ranked as opposed to how they do it in a pro game? During peak hours, a lot of top ranked games are full of pro players anyway. And you're on curse with them.
Excellent point.
You probably know how... I don't know, Reels talks, right? When he gets in your rank game, you're probably like, hey, this is the sort of thing he says. He talks real quiet, and he says, I think we could get the Gold Fury here.
All right, mate. Gonna go in. I'm gonna slap. Get a Gold Fury, all right? Smoke a fag. That's pretty much like real shot calling in general, right? And I don't think that changes. I really don't think that Zatman's going into a game in ranked and being like, okay, I'm going to sandbag my calls so that anybody watching my stream won't know what to do against Eager when they play. I don't think that's a reality, dude. I really don't. Whether or not Zatman is shot caller for Team Eager is whatever. But that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I don't think it's... I think that is a fantastic point.
We don't have comms that are psychic.
I hate every week.
How do you think they worked with the best?
All right, you know what? That's a valid point.
There you go.
And you know, speaking of the best, I'm going to take that and run with it. The best is on a team called 5 Angry Men. He shares it with the brothers Grabowski, Mace to the Face, and Shadow Q. And then who are the other 2 players on that team?
Madman Mark and your boy Shing.
Shing. Yes. And with the acquisition of Madman Mark, and Shing probably had a little bit more to do with it, just recently announced Denial Esports is now going to represent 5 Angry Men. So a team with a rough past as far as like legitimization is concerned finally get the nod, and they will be a legitimate team now with Denial under their name. How do you feel about that?
Well, it gave me a lot of feels, right? Because it's such a throwback. Denial's an organization that got its start in Smite, really accomplished more in Call of Duty than any other game.
Yeah, they're COD boys now.
Yeah, COD boys.
They have a Dota team with fucking Mad, and that's the dude's name. Fucking Mad.
That's a good name. I think they had some...
It's stupid.
They had some fighting game players at some point. They had a guy who played
Did they?
Capcom. Yeah, it was like 2 EVOs ago. I remember. He played Marvel Capcom, and he's like Hawaiian or something. I don't know.
Oh, he played Marvel vs. Rando. Okay, sweet.
No, he was like top.
Sorry, I mean Marvel vs. Capcom is just a.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Right, you only think Street Fighter's a good game, right? Of course.
It's just Street Fighter, and I mean Smash, but it's a competitive platformer, not really a fighter. So.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tekken 2?
I just
Killer
gotta be
Instinct.
careful. Kelly's gonna slap me if she hears me.
Kelly will kill
Smash
you.
A fighting game.
Kelly will kill you.
It's my favorite competitive platformer, Krett.
So Denial's interesting because they sort of had this reputation for level 1 fighting, for early aggression, and we've seen that with 5 Angry Men. They're sort of, I would call them the last team in the Denial lineage, right? Where all the other players from Denial, Jeff Henla is now on Cloud9, Pon works for Hi-Rez, Rush disappeared in Puff of Smoke, Pain Biondi.
No, that's wrong. Rush has been around the scene playing on benches, and Rush most recently played for... He made a resurgence. Who did he play for?
He was on 5 Angry Men.
Yeah. He played in the Challenger Cup, dude.
He subbed for them, yeah.
He didn't poof. He's still here.
He's like half poofed. He's like translucent. He's like translucent. Okay. You can see through.
He's like Osiris playing the solo.
Yes, exactly.
You're welcome. That was a good one. I feel good about that.
That was a good one too, yeah. Pain is basically been joining other teams, formerly a team captain, but like what he played with the team that became Fnatic. He played with Complexity as a sub. Now he's playing with DJ Parnicus. And so it really was just sort of Mace to Face that was left. And then they get sponsored by Denial.
Last time Denial came into the scene, they had a lot of... the players that played on Denial had a lot of strong words about Denial. Like... They didn't really super love the new digs. They just weren't a huge fan of it. So it's curious to me that Mace of the Face is coming to Denial Esports with open arms. I'm happy. I'm glad, both for Denial and 5 Angry Men. It's just very curious to me that Mace of the Face, previous Denial, maybe there's a whole different tune. I don't know the business side of things, but it's very curious to me that the team is going to go in that direction.
Is that Josh?
Yeah, it is.
Ah, I love Josh. Yeah, I mean, I guess they believe in Denial, and I think we should trust them, right? They've been around for a long time. ShadowQ, Mace of the Face, Shing are incredibly veteran players. They really know Smite competitive. They've been around forever.
Right.
I remember playing with Mace of the Face 2.5 years ago. He played Ao Kwang. Then Ao Kwang. Now Kukulkan. Same skin though, Sacred Dragon. It was very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting situation to me. I wish them the best, and Denial... I mean, like we said, the last time we saw Denial, they were in Smite, they were doing their thing, and the players on that team had some interesting things to say. Denial comes, they experience some mid-level success in the Call of Duty scene. Maybe that refines their business strategy. Maybe that refines their ability to own an organization. There's a lot of learning that goes on both sides of the coin, and maybe Denial, maybe the Red and Black have come through with a new, sense of
Isn't it orange and black?
professionalism. Yeah, what I say, red? I meant orange.
Yeah.
I
whatever.
whatever.
Cog or something, whatever.
Yeah, but maybe the orange and black have like really come through and like learned to do all the right things. So because otherwise, like I said, Mace of the Face, who experienced it firsthand, and I'm sure his brother Shadow Q, who was a member of Team Dignitas, a very celebrated organization, and saw his brother Mace on a lackluster organization as they were at the time. There's a lot of experience and knowledge there not to make the same mistake twice. So I'm of the opinion that Denial has to have a stronger option this time around, and I expect them to be very excited.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose no, it's gone. My thought is completely gone. I failed. Dude, it was a really salient point, let me tell you. Oh, yeah, okay, right. So we talked about this last week, or maybe it was the week before, just sort of the idea that there are some organizations that do take advantage of their players. As much as I joked earlier about you being the man, Hi-Rez is honestly very responsive to their players and to their community.
Yeah.
They listen.
Yeah.
And I think an organization that was taking advantage of their players would be very seriously dealt with.
I completely agree. And I'll give you a little bit of the backstage information. Hi-Rez APC is like in charge of esports. He's the boss of esports.
Two or three boys.
I mean, he is technically the man. He is the leader of esports. He's my direct boss, as is he's Gandhi.
Tell him I said hi, by the way.
And Bart's. I will. Yeah, I mean that's like our boss, right? And every decision we make, Adam, and I mean he's an ex-pro, right? Adam comes from the world of being a tribes pro in a smaller scene. Every decision we make, Adam comes up with, hey man, are we doing enough for the players? What about the players?
Yeah.
Are we giving the players an opportunity? Are we stifling the players? Because a lot of times decisions can be made from the top down without, I don't want to say without thinking about the players, but without, where the players are thought of, but not always the first. And Adam is the first one to be like, no, think about this. And, that's a very big thing. We value, everyone here at Hi-Rez really values the players. And I think that's a huge deal. So I think if some unscrupulous organization were to come through and be like, all right, sign here. If you don't show up for a game, we take your mom's house. I don't think that really would happen in Smite. So.
Well, I hope so. I hope that never is a problem in any way. Speaking of other pickups, Cognitive Gaming picking up What's Crackin'. Let's talk about
What's cracking? Yeah, I mean, so Cognitive Gaming, they didn't let go of their last two teams. So, I mean, David Fry must be a little salty about that. So, the other two teams sort of walked away.
Not electing to re-sign.
Yeah, they just, so if anybody was out of the loop, Cognitive Prime, the team that won the World Championship, and Cognitive Red, arguably the best team in North America that didn't win the World Championship. Cog Prime did not renew their contract and instead signed with Cloud9, and Cog Red did not renew their contract and are currently shopping around for a sponsor right now, unaffiliated, called The Name Changers. We'll see how the future goes for them. But I as long as their business practices are sound, which is tougher than it sounds because their average age is 16 and a half, I think that they should have no problem finding a sponsor, being as they're very, very strong team. So Cognitive Gaming was left without a team, and now we see them picking up What's Cracking, which again, all right, so let's break it down.
Let's break it down.
Three teams that David Fry has endorsed.
The past three?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, so Cognitive Prime, actually four, right? So the original Cog was Allied and Shing. It was basically Snipe.
Which is basically Complexity, if you want to stretch it, which is our number one seed right now in qualifiers.
Well, yes. I mean, you could argue that that was David Fry endorsing Allied, and I think that's a good argument.
It's very thick, but just for our purposes here, he endorsed the number one seed in our qualifiers.
Right.
Next team.
Specifically, Allied, Shing, MLC Stealth, and Omega. Next team, MLC Stealth and Omega, Andinster, Jeff Hinla. Or, not Jeff Hinla. At the time, it was Barracuda and Yannick? Dare to Care.
Dare to Care.
Started with Ionic, then became Dare to Care.
So the team that won the World Championship and took home $1.3 million. Got it. Next.
All right, next team, Cognitive Red. A team that was picked up. Well, they were picked up specifically to be a scrim partner and to grow. Right. But it was a team that was like some of the best players in the game. Gars, Snoopy, Divios have always been fantastic. Ionic has been in the scene for a very long time, originally laning with DJ Pernicus. It was his first lane partner, Pern.
Yep. So, and also known as the other team that made it to the Worlds from North America.
Yes, and then Titan, now Titan, were first picked up by Cog as Kagakila. Incredibly powerful team.
So the number
3
2
teams
team in the world,
and then Allied.
The number 1 team in the world.
Yeah.
The number 1 seed in qualifiers, and the other team that almost went.
Yeah.
So
wait, it is worth mentioning there was also an all-girl cognitive team that didn't really work out.
Cog XX was more of a
1 for 5. 1 for 5. Or 4 for 5.
I really don't think anybody went into Cog XX thinking they were going to win anything because you're strictly. I think that's we've had that discussion. I would love to have it again, just not right now. That said, can we argue that David Fry is one of the best talent scouts in Smite?
Yeah, no, he's very good at what he does.
He is like. You could argue that he's the best talent scout in Smite.
But he's also a businessman.
Right, and I think that's part of it, right? What's the lineup of what's cracking? It's Mask, Famous Hate, who else?
Mask, Famous Hate, Jigs, Whirlwind, and Solo Laner. A Solo Laner.
Yeah, and so this team is a mixture of ex-pro or professional players like Whirlwind, players that are known and ranked like Jigs and Mask for better or for worse, known and ranked.
Meerkat.
Famous Hate. Meerkat. So established players like Meerkat and Whirlwind, up-and-coming players like Famous Hate, and relative unknown outside of ranked play, Jigs and Mask. This is a team that is being pulled from the farm. Like, they are growing. They are being picked up. This is a talent scouted team.
I think it's his riskiest move yet.
Sure. But basically what I'm saying is that, like, if you're a sponsor and you look at Team Eager, let's pretend that Team Eager didn't want to do what they did and make their own team, or Cog Red right now looking for if you're a sponsor, right? If I have like F.esports, which I would never call that, I could just go and like buy the team that's good, right? Like, yes, Cognitive Red, they might not be number 1. Nobody can guarantee they're going to be number 1, but you know they're not going to lose, dude, right? What's cracking is not that team. So for David Fry, hitting 4 for 4, I'm leaving Cog XX out of it. Hitting 4 for 4, David Fry picking up what's cracking, I am immediately interested. I'm immediately more excited for this team than if I wasn't, because I trust David Fry's judgment. He's 4 for 4. Titan, Cog Red, Cog Prime, and Allied. He hasn't picked a loser yet. Maybe this will be the loser, but I don't think so. I think that having David Fry's stamp on that, as far as organization and business is concerned, it's a whole different story. But talent-wise and gameplay-wise, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a intelligent, deliberate, and well-thought-out business decision. We will see what happens, right? Cog is a very good team, but Mask is a player that has had interpersonal issues within the scene, which is a political way of saying his TP was reset because he scummed his way to number 1. Actually, a thing that happens.
Yeah, and I mean that's a huge thing, and you know that's it. There's growing up, and I mean I am always the one that wants to give a player a new chance.
It's true. Divios was kind of a jerk, and now he's one of the most professional people in the scene.
Divios was kind of a jerk. He's more professional now. Omega still has a tinge, but definitely has refined what he does. You know, there's a lot of players out there that have gotten second chances for good reason and have done good things with them. So Jerby went in with a journalist years ago.
Yes.
and we still allow him to do his thing. Derby has made a lot of mistakes in the past in public, and he still does his thing. And I think that sometimes it's okay, within reason, right? You do something egregious, I never want to talk to you again.
Yeah,
but,
racism
like,
not good.
Like, yeah, but like something like something like what Mask has done and stuff like that. Turn over a new leaf. If it doesn't stop, that sucks, and we'll reevaluate. But this is a situation where you're like, "Hey, Mom, I might make $1 million."
Yeah,
that might make you stop being a fuckboy. So,
yeah. I don't know. It's definitely exciting. I can't wait to see what this team can do, and they're definitely one of the go-to teams in contention for those SPL slots.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that goes without saying. I think What's Cracking is definitely going to be one of the more exciting teams to check out, and definitely something to look at. Divios is just cracking up. He's loving it. He's yeah. I mean, what was his old name, Krett?
He was
Reborn?
Divios, and then he he was Divios. He played with Ecliptium. He was on Denial Academy, and then he joined TR5 and briefly name changed to Reborn.
You know what? All of a sudden, I forgive everything Divios. He played with Ecliptium, and he was on Denial Academy. It all makes sense why he was BM, all right? Yeah. It all makes sense. But as you said, I think that everybody deserves another chance or two, and I think that Mask is a character that I will look at with a clean slate come SPL. Knowing who he is and how he acted in ranked is something that you keep in the back of your mind. But I think that as an analyst and as a commentator going forward with the broadcast, it's something like, it's sort of like how I think about Thirst and High Five being related. I caught shit for this on Twitter, but I stand by it. 3 out of 5 members on High Five are members of Thirst. There's probably a lot of deeper changes.
And El Chapo is a Thirst member's brother or cousin.
Yeah, and El Chapo hasn't exactly been a strong player. But my stance is that I will draw some parallels from Thirst. It's in the back of my mind. It is 2 out of 10 of the whole equation, right? Like you would be remiss if you did not draw any parallels. High Five is their own team. They are not Thirst, but a portion of them is Thirst. There's a history there, etc. That's sort of how I look at Mask. There's a history of him being a certain type of individual, Jigs as well, of being a certain type of individual. It's a lot different in ranked versus competitive play. It's a lot different when there's money on the line and a career on the line versus just playing after school. It's very different, but you would be remiss if you did not include that in the equation, but the majority of it should be the new situation. So I definitely think that's something to think about, but not player defining.
Yeah, I mean, players can turn over a new leaf, right? Ally got a week ban a while ago for being BM. This was like 2 years ago. Allied currently is fun to watch, and there are times in the stream where he does, oh, get shit on. And it's great, right? He's not really BM anymore. He's just funny and yeah, like I don't think he's rude, right? BM is bad-mannered. I think it's an acronym we use to the point where it loses its meaning, but Allied has manners.
Yeah.
That's all there is to say on it. Zatman has manners.
I remember coming to the MOBA scene hating that term. I still hate it. I think it's I think it's a crappy term. No pun intended. But I don't know. I just don't think it really encompasses like what it's supposed to, really be. But it's just one of those situations where you sort of look at it, you acknowledge it. It's a part of your thought process, but it's not the entire thought process, and it's not even close to the majority. So I wish Mask and his team the best in what they do, and we'll see just how strong they are in the future as far as that's concerned. So just to wrap it up, Cognitive Gaming takes What's Cracking under their wing, and Denial Esports claims 5 Angry Men. So two new sponsors and organizations on the block. Cognitive Gaming, obviously not a new sponsor, neither is Denial, but they've got new squads, and that's pretty cool. So let's talk a little about
and Meerkat's a BM jerk.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Let's talk a little bit about some of the situations as far as the first week of qualifiers went through, because we sort of deviated from that topic. And let's just start off in Europe. The note I have here is literally Trig is really fucking good. That is all I have to say. We did some stuff today, and I was just talking to Barton and Scott Connie, and Trig's just really good. They are clearly the number one team. When put up against Titan and SK, I think that they have to prove themselves, but I think that it's very possible they're on the same level.
So, two things. As a coach, it is easier to work with a good team than it is to work with a bad team.
Really?
Because, yes.
It is easier to survive with more money than it is with less
money. No. That's not what I mean. Not financially. It's easier to coach a good team than it is to coach a bad team. A good team makes adjustments, so the coach's role changes. The flip side of that is when you're the best team in your league, continuing to be the best is much harder because everyone is looking up to you and improving to you. They're catching up almost automatically, so you have to continue improving. You have to still be the best team and continue to get better. That's something that Cognitive Red did very well for a long time, but clearly not well enough, as Prime was able to overtake them in Worlds. And Prime seemed to be, for the most part, clearly a step ahead. I think that's the issue that Trig is going to encounter, at least under these circumstances.
They're a good team, so they're hard to coach?
No, the fact that they're a good team, so they need to continue to get better. They're the best team in the European qualifiers. They need to continue to be that team, and in order to do that, they need to get better. But they need to do that on their own. There's no other better team that they can play against.
I think they've got a lot of support from Zimstar and the rest of their organization as far as, like, access to numbers and all the stuff that, like...
To an extent, yeah.
Easy stuff. As a coach, that's the easy stuff, right? Like, when you're building wrong or warding in the wrong spot, that's the easy stuff to fix, right? Like, the easy stuff, I think they'll have no problem with.
Basically, that's not what makes you a coach.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people at home think makes you a coach, though. Yeah. Like... I can't tell you the amount of times that I looked at the Twitch chat from North America, for example, and people would be like, "Why would
you look at Twitch chat? You should see an eye doctor. You're probably getting cataracts."
But like, I'd go back and look at the VODs, and my VOD saved the Twitch chat because I'm the best, and you just see like, that's a weird place to put a ward. Krett's not doing his job, and like, that's not coaching. Like that. Yeah, and I mean, what did you say? It's easy to coach a hard team. Say that one more time.
It's easier to coach a good team than it is to coach a bad team. Because for a bad team, you have to go and fix all their mistakes.
So it must be really hard to coach Eager.
Yeah.
I called them bad. You're not supposed to agree. That makes it not funny, and that just makes me an asshole. That was a joke.
Yeah. No. So it's different. It's sort of a spectrum, right? Because then you have this new problem of my team is really good. How do I make them better? You start doing the real job of coaching, but it's the difference between busy work of saying, all right, you didn't recall in time for mid camps, so you showed up with 40% health and 20% mana. Like, that's obviously a mistake. Your players should know that's a mistake and fix it themselves. The players on Eager, the players on Cog, the players on Denial, the players on Complexity know better than that. They're not going to fall into those traps. Yeah. So then what do you do as a coach? And I've had people ask me that, and my general answer is, I'm not going to tell you because that's my livelihood.
You're such a bitch.
Yes, I am. Yes. Yes, I am.
Can you stream your coaching scrims?
It's me coaching scrims. I literally sit in my chair and I put my hands in front of my head.
You watch it at like 8 times speed.
No.
I know.
No, because there's no VOD saved. I sit in my chair and I listen, and I do like that evil mastermind thing with your hands, where you put them together. and you just listen. And every so often, you say something, but very rarely. And that's how I coach. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically an evil mastermind. So, actually, Abby, a friend of mine from Georgia, drew a picture of me like that. I think it's accurate. I'm gonna find that.
I'm gonna hit her up. Hello. Did he hang up on me?
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm looking. This is a good picture.
I thought I crossed the line with that one.
No, she has a boyfriend.
Yeah,
it's cute.
You dog.
Well, it's not me.
Dog. Oh. Okay. Alright. It was a lot funnier when I thought it was you.
No.
Oh man. But yeah, so coaching teams is a difficult. Krett coaching just fucking bores me. What can I say, dude? Nothing really makes sense. So we've got the fact that Trig's really good, and staying good or getting better will probably be their number one hurdle as they try to stay in the SPL. It really is. I mean, that Eager is a very good team, and Dignitas, that was sort of their issue, right? Staying good, getting better. I feel like Dignitas as a unit, even after the roster changes and stuff, they were a very good team, and they got to a point, and then Cognitive kept getting better. Both Cognitive Prime and Cognitive Red, you can argue it's because of sister teams. I don't care. I don't want you to show your work. I'm not a 7th grade fucking math teacher. I don't want to see your work. I just know that the result is Cogs got better, Dig did not. And that's one of the trials and tribulations of being a pro team. So Eager, hopefully, with a new coach in Krett.
It's not even falling off, right? Saying that the team fell off is generally an inaccurate assessment.
That's not what I said.
There are teams that have. No, I'm just expanding on what you're saying. There are teams that have fallen off. Mm-hmm. But generally, it's an inaccurate assessment to say that, and usually it's just they didn't continue to improve at the same rate.
I think mortality fell off
previously. Yeah, mortality did fall off. I would agree.
Team that fell off. Dignitas, now Eager. Dignitas at the time did not get better.
I think Fnatic is an example of a team that did not continue to improve.
Yes, that was. God damn it! That's why. God damn it! Yeah, that's why we do it, because I was going to say the same shit. Fnatic is a team that didn't get better. Mortality is a team that fell off. Dignitas at the time is also the team that just didn't get better. They were just as good. They're still dope. Zapman and Lazarus could still win a game whenever they wanted at that point in time. But the two Cognitive teams just got better, and that's why we saw two Cognitive teams in the finals, or at Worlds, rather, instead of seeing a Dignitas team. So hopefully with the new Eager sponsorship, new Eager umbrella, brand. With the new Eager brand, with the new coach in Krett, with the new mentality behind it, the new roster or new old roster with non-Anatoly, I think they are a team that can continue to get better because they've seen what happens when they don't get better. So because they've experienced that firsthand as a unit, Toly was there, remember? When Xing took his spot at Soul Lane, Toly was still with the brand, the organization, the team. Because they've seen that wholeheartedly as a team, I think that's something that they can really stick to heart. Now, Eager is a team that you probably don't want to talk about, but why the hell are they in 4th? I had them as a almost clear number 2 or number 3, and both Cognitive now. It was 500 men and what's cracking. So both Denial and Cognitive Gaming beat out Eager for 2nd and 3rd place. Eager wound up at 4th. Why? What happened?
1 sec, I just got a Tinder match.
You just got a Tinder match? Is that your first? How long you been swiping right, dude?
Dude, I always swipe right. I learned from Dan.
All I do is swipe right. My phone light's like a light bright. Is that you, Krett? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Swipe right, boys.
Seriously, what does she look like?
Pretty cute. From Connecticut.
Pretty cute from Connecticut. So
yeah, you didn't ever think there's...
Is she just like wearing golf shorts and a polo?
She looks like APC, basically.
She looks like APC. Run! Run! Oh my god. She probably looks like Dan, and that's why you swiped right.
Yeah. Anyway, it sort of gave me flashbacks to my Chinese team. Yeah, I can't hear you. You cut out.
Your Chinese team didn't do too hot.
My Chinese team did very hot, and then they chased a Bacchus instead of killing a Phoenix.
And then they chased... Yeah, so... okay. Good. I'm glad you defended it. Keep going.
I would argue that the 5 Angry Men game at large was a winning match. Much like I would argue that Cloud9 versus Titan at large was a winning match. And then it wasn't. And they lost. And that sucks.
Okay.
That's something that, as a coach, I can attempt to prevent from happening again.
How would you do that?
You say, don't fucking throw.
I thought you were going to be like, excuse me, that's my livelihood, I can't talk about it.
No, you sternly look at them, you move into their house, and you say, alright, don't throw. Every time they play Smite, every game they play, you just say, don't throw.
Are you moving into their house?
This is my professional opinion as a psychologist. Don't throw.
Okay. Fantastic. Great coaching advice. Just look them in the eyes and say, don't throw. Krett, I know you're such a scumbag. Like, that's totally not what you do, but, trade secrets and all the like. So I respect it. But, I mean, I can speak candidly. I'm an unbiased source. I think Eager... I think that your squad, maybe you included, I think Team Eager were definitely very high on the new brand. Mm-hmm. We got the gang back together. We're going to do great. Who the fuck is Mask? We're going to poop on these nerds. It just didn't happen. 5 Angry Men. It's Mace to the face. He's going to kill us with Isis and Anubis. Yeah, he is, and he did. You know what I mean? So I think that was definitely a little bit of...
We banned ISIS.
Okay, dude. You banned ISIS. That doesn't do it.
We banned ISIS. He went back to Scylla, alright?
Banning ISIS isn't something to be proud of. Is it?
I mean, against denial.
Sure.
A lot of people ban ISIS. A lot of people do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no. On a serious note, I mean, Mace to the Face is, there's no Sayo anymore. So he's off playing H1Z1. So maybe Mace to the Face is the guy to ban ISIS against. Anyway, my point is that I think there was a lot of underestimation coming from the guys on Eager. And I think that because of that, Week 2 will be much better, much nicer to Team Eager. I think that after the first week, they just had certain expectations. Those expectations weren't reached, either for them or their opponents. And I think Week 2, they'll be a little bit more realistic. And this is a team that I fully believe in.
Here's the real shit. Here's the real shit. No filter. No filter.
No filter.
All right, we got fourth. We got fourth in Week 1. That puts it at 25 points. That alone is likely enough to make Week 3. The teams that got 5th to 8th place have 10 points each. Assuming all of them make 5th to 8th place again, they will have 20 points. If all of those teams somehow place top 4, and Eager does not place top 16, which I believe is impossible, they don't get Week 3. If they do place top 16, all of the 5th to 8th place teams place top 4, and it's just... people are tied at 25 points. I have no fucking idea what happens. It's probably a tie. That's unlikely.
It's a random seeding.
So just a random team goes to the Week 3?
No. When the teams are tied, like when there's a 4-way tie, it's going to be random seeding.
Okay, but what I'm saying is 5 to 8th with 10 points. Those 10-point teams get first place, right? So like somehow they all have more points, and then Eager with their 25 points would go up to like 30. I don't know. It gets weird. Either way, it's incredibly likely that Eager goes to week 3 unless some very strange stuff happens, based off of their 4th place finish in Team 1 first, entirely, right? Team 2, week 2, it's just like, get something, you're probably good, based on points, okay?
Right.
Week 3 is the week that counts. Every team should know who they're going up against in their groups based on that week, and that's what matters. As a player who is interested in seeing my team get to the SPL, obviously I want them to win week 2, but it doesn't really matter. It's not super important. In fact, the only way in which it matters
is... It's important that you place.
Yes, definitely, but the only way in which it's important is deciding which group you go into, because it's a group stage, each team plays every other team, so all you have to do is not get into the group with the teams you don't want to face. That's definitely the real shit. And
but like, you can't lose in the round of 16.
You can't lose it. Actually, if they lose in the round of 16, they still have like 30 points. That's likely week 3.
Likely.
I'm not saying they should lose in the round of 13. Or round of 16.
There's a round of 13?
There's a round of 13. That's the way Hi-Rez runs their tournaments. Odd numbers. No, I mean, yeah, I hope my team doesn't lose in the round of 16. That would be bad, but they're likely going to week 3, and that's the week that matters to me.
Yeah. All right. I respect it. I respect it. I would still, if I was coaching a team, I would still want them to take number 1. I don't think that shooting for the lowest common denominator is like an ideal strategy. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but if I'm coaching a team, I'm telling them to get out there and win, not like, all right, dudes, get around to 8, then we'll eat some Ritz crackers.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, nah, bro, try to win the game.
They should probably win. They're the best team in the qualifiers.
Quote from Coach Krett for Team Eager. Yeah, they should probably try to win. You are the most passive coach I've ever heard. Dude, you want your team to win. I don't get it.
I would like them to win.
Good. I'm glad that I'm glad that you.
You know
want
what?
Your team to
After
win.
the show,
very happy for you.
I'm gonna hit up Zap and I'm like, "Yo, Zap, win or you're a bitch boy."
just call up Zap man and be like, "Yo, buddy, win for me." All right, thanks. Peace. Hang up.
Coach boys. That's
honestly, that's probably the way to coach that, man. Honestly, knowing Steve, that's probably the way to coach.
Trade secrets.
So we took a look at the European side of things. Trig is just absolutely playing out of their minds. Panthera is an interesting team. I think they're good, but IRAF for support leaves a little left to be desired. And Team Dignitas and London Conspiracy are the other two teams to talk about. I think Team Dignitas is not as good as they're supposed to be, and London Conspiracy is secretly pretty good.
London Conspiracy is pretty good. I don't know why. Right? Like,
me neither.
The math of that team doesn't look like they're significantly better than the Potato Boys.
Exactly. That's what
maybe
I said.
It's just Suntouch is better in mid, and he needed to be playing it for the last 2 years. Maybe that's what it is.
By the way, we have Suntouch bingo. What team did he play solo for? Because I know it happened.
He never played solo competitively.
No, you told me. I could have sworn that he did.
He, like, played 1 week.
That counts! What team was it for?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, we got Suntouch bingo, okay? We got it. We got Suntouch bingo. I'm very happy. But more so, I'm happy that he found a role that he's good at. He can play mid. Let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, he's very good.
I'm excited for
and you know, the other thing, shout outs to Suntouch. Suntouch is probably one of the most valuable players in the community to an organization just because of the sheer amount of content he puts out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Suntouch is not my number 1 pick for if I'm gonna make a Smite team in Europe. I'm not going to pick Suntouch first. My team probably doesn't include Suntouch on it if I'm picking the most talented players. Suntouch...
Wait. Doesn't include a Milsey, though. Mine does.
Not the conversation I'm having.
Okay.
But so Suntouch is probably not the most talented player in Europe, but he's he's a player that I put Sun Touch where Wolfie is. He is average pro player. When I say average player, I don't mean that you're going to go home and queue up and win. He's going to shit on you. But in the world of professional play, I think Sun Touch is average to, like a 5 out of a 10, right? With pro players being 1 to 10. I think Sun Touch is very good at being a role player. But the thing is, his upside is, as you said, so much content. Such a good streamer, such a nice guy, good on camera. All of those intangibles raise your value so much. And it's funny, Wolfie sort of has the same thing going for him. So these are players that I want to see succeed, despite the fact that, they're not the #1 pick overall. But there's a lot of talent there. I think he can work on a team, and I think it's really cool stuff coming out from him. So I want to see more content coming out from Sun Touch, and I think this team can do well.
Yeah, Emilzy and Shaggy Shank. I think Emilzy is one of the most intelligent players in the scene. He is an incredible support. He occasionally is victim of bad ideas. Like, he tried to do Bumba's support, which just doesn't work. But, he's very strong, and it's good to see him in the duo lane with Shaggy Shank. I think that's a very scary duo lane, and will do a lot for London Conspiracy. Redfoo has been very strong as well. Their solo lane,
I don't think he's that good.
He's been stronger than he should have been.
Yes. I don't think Redfoo stays on this team. I think this team succeeds.
Who do you replace him with?
I think no idea.
Actually, the thing is,
you know who I replaced him with? I go spend $500,000 on fucking anime, and I give it to NQ, and I tell him to join my team. That's what I do if I'm London Conspiracy.
Right.
Redfoo's just not going to do it. Get NQ out with mad anime and like Desu Kawaii faces, and you're good.
All right.
Yes,
so
I saw the picture of Man Mark.
It's a great picture. I mean, just looking at Europe, right? The top 4 teams: Trug, Panthera, Dignitas, London Conspiracy. Likely, that's what's going to the SPL, but Spicy Waffles, Wasted Talent, Upcoming Stars are very strong. You can probably say, hey, look, we're an SPL team, you should join us.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a big deal. How's it going? How's it going,
Say hi to Stu, chat.
Yeah, it's right there.
And Bart.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, I think London Conspiracy is a team that I want to see a swap on the solo lane. Definitely cool stuff coming out from there. But something exciting brewing there. I don't think they're done. Again, no, just being real, I don't think Redfoo is a player that will really stand the test of time. I think that Shaggy Shank.
But maybe he will, right? Maybe he's the next role player.
And see, this is what I always say. I am strong in my opinions, and I invite you to shut me the fuck up. Please. Redfoo, you're watching, you're pissed. Come out and
I would love to.
Do it.
I would love for FTOT to shut the fuck up, please.
It's never going to happen.
If you're out there.
But seriously, that's what I always say. People are like, oh, you're biased or you're BM. I'm just strong. I just have a strong opinion.
Oh, Snakeskin's the solo. That's right. Snakeskin's the solo. Redfoo's the jungler. Snakeskin's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Snakeskin is the quiet guy, right? Is the quiet guy that does really well, and I actually wrote about him in the blog that I put out this week. But Redfoo, like I said, I don't think he's going to stand the test of time. I really do.
But maybe he will, right? Maybe he'll be the next role player. He just,
you know how many hammers Redfoo missed?
Hey, I'm just like, he doesn't seem like the player that will show up and be the next Lasses, but he might be the next.
He doesn't have to be on that team.
He doesn't have to be on exactly. He can just quietly support everyone else from the jungle, and that's something that has been very strong in Europe. That's literally Frostiak. That's what he does. He's not a carry. Yep. He's not going to lead your team to victory, but he's going to help everyone else on his team kick incredible amounts of ass.
Yeah. So I think London Conspiracy is a team that will get better over time because they need to make some. Either they make swaps or they get stronger player or they get stronger as players. But I think that London Conspiracy is the team, and I am notorious for not believing in teams that Sun Touch is on.
Yes, you are. It's pretty much your job.
Sure. I think that London Conspiracy is the most valuable team here, meaning that they can grow so much. I love Team Dignitas. I think that Youngbay, etc., is a great team. I don't think their potential or their ceiling is as high as LC's. I think I believe the conspiracy.
I think something needs to snap with Dignitas, right? So let's talk about that. They've got a very strong roster. Youngbei has been an amazing Hunter player for his entire career. He has always played a dual lane carry. Usually it has been ranged. Every so often he's played something a little different, but it's very rare. Frostiak and Shadow Nightmare, incredible mechanical players, right? Like, the team is just so good on paper.
Right.
And yet, there's something missing. Frezzy and Variety.
Frezu.
Variety? Yeah, Frezu now.
Frezu, Frezas.
Both players that are good, but not as good as they should be. Not as good as they can be, perhaps. It's just sort of like, something's missing, and maybe someone will come along, figure out what it is, tell them, and they'll be really, really good.
Exactly. I think,
and that has happened. I mean, looking at
it has.
Looking at last season's Fnatic, right? Like, the team was bad week 1, and then they got Pain, and they got a little bit better, and then they got Half Devil, and they were suddenly amazing. And Frosty and Shadow Nightmare need that again.
Yeah, I think that team will have to work a lot harder to get better. I definitely don't think that they're out of it. I think that they're good players. I think Frostiak and his mullet can definitely do good things, but I think they will have to work harder to be better than some of the other games for sure. Bless you, Krett. So, I think that's going to round out our European discussion. We had another thing on the table here talking about should the SPL expand? Why? When? Why not? We're going to have to shelve that because we're already over time. I know I was late a little bit. We had some stuff going on that I had to film, and maybe you'll see it tomorrow. But, so, unfortunately. That said, all that shit should be fixed. We're going to be moving the show to Tuesdays, folks. So, Tuesdays at 5 p.m., not only will that free us up because we're going to be watching and, casting, but watching SPL because that's what we do on Thursdays, and you should be too. But it also, that's my day off. So we shouldn't run into any of this nonsense again. So scheduling should be fine. Again, mark it on your calendars. From this point on, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. is when really will air every Tuesday at 5 p.m., barring like a volcano or something, or,
and
cricket club shuts down.
I want you to know, because it's F.Dot's day off, that means he's going to be more unreliable than usual.
No, that's... I'm usually so reliable, and I hate that. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the show. So just in sort of like summarizing what we were talking about, what did we talk about today, Krett? We talked about cognitive gaming, taking over, what's cracking, Denial Esports, returning to the Mace of the Face, and taking over 5 Angry Men. We wrapped up North America. Very excited for Cloud9.
And we talked about content. We talked about should teams stream their scrims. It's a serious revenue source that has not really been tapped into.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm very eager to see. If teams and players really embrace that or whatnot. I hate you. If teams or players really embrace that or not, because I think that's a big deal. So, anyway, I wish everybody the best of luck again. Sorry I was late, but I'll see you Tuesday. This time on time. For everybody. I guess we saw a whole bunch of people today walk through the store because I'm literally like
the door is actually off camera, so they actually had to come say hi. We saw Josh, we saw Stu, and we saw Bart, I think.
Yeah, here I'll give you the I'm sitting here at the half sort of set, and there's the studio. There's my man Quan. Say hi, Quan.
What's up, Jay?
There you go. And that's the fucking door. So I'm here and the door is right there. So we got to see everybody. But that's gonna be it, and I will catch you guys on Tuesday. So peace out.
Peace.